Because there are still so many whys. There has been 2 lawsuits in this case. The homicide was immediately dispatched to this to check to see if there's any foul play. There was some really unique video, really, that had been released when she was missing. The last time she was seen was February 1st. Acting erratically in an elevator, pushing buttons, going outside, looking back and forth. And when you see the video initially, you're like, what is she running away from? What could she be running away from? And so when homicide was called out and they did this full investigation, it was months later and they found out there was no foul play, there was still the why.
Details tonight in connection with a grim discovery at a downtown LA hotel. Police now believe the body found inside a rooftop water tank is that of a tourist who disappeared 3 weeks ago. Official identification has not yet been made, but police say the victim is most likely Elisa Lam, a Canadian tourist who was last seen at the Cecil Hotel on January 31st. Shortly after 10 a.m., the body was found by a hotel employee following complaints of low water pressure in the building. After guests were informed, they were understandably shaken.
Elisa Lam is a name that we've all heard. I'm sure that most of you know or have heard about this case and its outlandish and bizarre nature. What many people don't know is the truth behind what is actually happening in these videos, these clips, and the actual story has been lost in obscurity thanks to a lot of media perpetuating paranormal theories, and just it's become an overall conspiracy. And to be completely frank, the truth is not any less confusing. So I decided to take the time, figure out what actually happened, or at least what people believe to be the truth to what actually happened. Welcome back to another Conspiracy Theory Iceberg video. Today we're going to be covering a few entries, including Elisa Lam, the CIA selling drugs, basement tapes, Operation Northwood, and Nostradamus. See, I can't speak English. Let's get some basic facts out of the way first. On February 19th of 2013, inside Cecil Hotel's rooftop water tank, Los Angeles, was found Elisa Lam, age 21, dead. Cause of death, accidental drowning. In her toxicology report, there was traces of medication used to treat bipolar disorder, such as, well, I'm not saying that actually, but there was no alcohol or hard drugs found in her system. On January 26th, Elisa checks into the Cecil Hotel during her solo California trip. On January 31st, it was the last time she was seen alive through the security camera footage, and on February 19th, hotel guests complained of low water pressure and strange taste, leading to maintenance finding her body in the water tank. Now, those are the just objective truths of what happened within this case. Let's go ahead and address some of the iceberg of conspiracy theory explanations. We will begin by reading the iceberg entry and then the explanation based off of the Google Doc for the iceberg. Here it says Elisa Lam, a college student who, while staying in a hotel, entered an elevator in panic, then left security camera site and was found multiple days later within a locked water container in the roof. The provided explanation from the iceberg seems to be contemporary shamanism. Just as performed in centuries past, perhaps people in modern times have shamanistic capabilities and can influence or be influenced by good and evil spirits. As a result, certain unexplainable things may occur around these people, only able to be perceived and fully understood by them. Just like many other theories at the time, this seems to be a paranormal conspiracy theory where they believe that Elisa Lam was encountering some sort of evil spirits that either possessed her or influenced her in a way to either take her own life or took her life themselves. Right off the bat, I'm going to point out that whenever they found her body, the water tank was not locked. It was actually unlocked and it was actually open. After seeing this clip, I understand how easy it is to believe the supernatural, believe that foul play was involved. But there are other explanations that are more grounded and based on reality, like psychology, that clearly explain this as well. And I think they trump these other supernatural superstitions or the belief that foul play was involved. Before we get into those, I want to address some claims or conspiracy theories and then just give the reality to them. I've heard claims that the video footage was tampered with or that it was a cover-up, so let's talk about some stuff. Number one is timestamp distortion. In the video, it appears that the timestamp is blurred or jumping, which leads people to think that there was a minute deleted. The reality to this is that the video was recorded on an analog CCTV system with a digital overlay, which means that it had a separate internal clock. When the footage is exported or compressed for police release, these systems often desynchronize the timestamp layer, which makes it lag or drop frames. Also, the LAPD blurred the timestamp deliberately to conceal exact time for investigative reasons, for example, protecting witness integrity and the hotel data. This all culminates and makes it look like there's missing time, but it's just a combination of overlay corruption plus intentional concealment. There's no splicing or editing to the video, excluding of course what I mentioned. Another talking point that I've seen thrown around online was that the elevator doors were malfunctioning or that it was being held open by spirits. The reality, however, is that most elevators have a door hold button, which whenever you press it, you can just hold the door open. That's in case like you actually change your mind, you want to walk out and you want to open it while it's closing, or if somebody's walking up to the elevator and you want to hold the door open for them. There's also the infrared sensor, which just resets the timer if anything is crossing the doorway. So if you were to cross or put your hand through and then the sensor detects you walking through it, it's going to reset the timer for the door to close. As we can see in the video, Elisa pressed multiple buttons rapidly, including the door hold button, and in most elevators it keeps doors open for up to 2 minutes. She also repeatedly stepped across the sensor line, each time resetting the timer to close it. Another thing is that there's weird frame rates and jumps. The footage seems choppy, as if frames were removed from the video. The truth is, old hotel CCTV systems record at low frame rates around 16 to 12 FPS. This is done to conserve storage, and when they're exported or re-encoded for public release, the software may drop duplicate frames to match modern standards, which are 24 to 30 FPS. This causes perceived jumps or teleports that don't exist in real time. Another claim about the cameras is that there's color/motion distortion. Her movements look jittery and unnatural. This is true, but the reason being is because there's low light plus low shutter speed, which causes motion blur. And when you watch a highly compressed analog video on a modern screen, small movements appear ghosted or lagged. This is because compression artifacts distort fine motion, exaggerating hand gestures. And then lastly, there's the missing video claim, where a bunch of conspiracy theorists will claim that a full minute was deleted to hide another person. The LAPD confirmed the raw footage was indeed intact, and that they only cropped and compressed for release. Normal for evidence disclosure. The supposed gap matches exactly the frame rate inconsistencies and not a missing sequence. So no, they did not cut any minute out or any other person because there was no other person. Now we can go ahead and move on to the other conspiracy theories, not revolving around the camera footage. Some of the theories that I've seen was that she was murdered. Although again, I can understand how it's easy to believe this or assume this. There's no evidence of external injury, DNA, or resistance, or even foul play. There's also the theory that she was possessed by a demon/ghost or being followed by a demon/ghost, though her symptoms perfectly match that of manic psychosis. So yeah, I think the grounded reality just trumps the supernatural theory. Another one is government testing. This one's pretty easy to debunk because there's no military or chemical link whatsoever. This one's just completely made up. And lastly, I see that there's the hotel staff was involved. There's no motive or evidence at all whatsoever, and there's also no inconsistencies in their logs or witness reports that could incriminate the hotel staff. Moving on, we're going to talk about how she ended up in the tank, and then the psychological explanation behind her just erratic behavior. Let's point out a few factors that led to her being able to get inside the water tank. So the roof access wasn't fully locked. It did require climbing stairs and a ladder, but that was completely possible and doable by Elisa. The tank lid could also be pushed open, and there was no lock on it either. Most likely scenario is that she made her way up to the roof, she climbed in while disorientated, slipped, and wasn't able to find a way out and drowned. Again, the autopsy found no signs of struggle, assault, or trauma, though we will never find out what truly happened on that roof. Honestly, yeah, there's not much to say. Like, all we really know is that she somehow got into that water tank and drowned, most likely out of her own accord. Whether she willingly meant to do that or not, it's not so sure. Obviously, she was in a very disorientated and disorganized form of thought. Maybe it's not what she intended to happen, but it was something she did herself. Bipolar disorder type 1 can cause delusions, paranoia, and disorganized behavior when untreated or improperly medicated. Lam had stopped taking some of her meds, per toxicology reports, making a manic episode extremely likely. Her actions in the video, erratic gestures, confusion, fleeing, all align with known psychotic manifestations, not paranormal forces. And unfortunately, this is just another tragic case of someone not getting the mental health support they needed. How is it that a real tragedy such as this one became a viral internet conspiracy theory? What factors led to this? For one, the Cecil Hotel's reputation was already pretty tainted, since there had been murders there before, suicides, and even Richard Ramirez once stayed there. Obviously, this set the stage for supernatural speculation. Pair that with the elevator video's creepiness and the incomplete info early on, just kind of made a viral clickbait horror video that allowed anybody to fill the gaps of the content with their own fantasy. And on top of all of that, you have the social media detective work where Redditors and YouTubers spread misinformation rapidly, trying to fill in their own theories on what could possibly be happening. All of this just fell together and became what it is now. An entry on the conspiracy theory iceberg. Quick shout out to this channel. This is where I got all my clips from. I just wanted to show you guys this channel. If you guys want to go check out more clips about this matter on your own, you should definitely check it out. They're all really pretty short clips, so you could probably watch the whole channel in like less than an hour or something. Definitely check it out. So yeah, that concludes the Elisa Lam entry, and I know I did it a little bit differently this time. I've decided that I'm gonna give like a little more detail and more like juice to the more interesting ones, obviously. But I think for the more boring entries, I'm gonna do the classic like video game in the background while I talk about it, because there's not, some of these are just kind of like really quick and easy, like 1 or 2 minutes. So I'm not gonna give it too much attention or time. As already mentioned before, there's gonna be a neural network of these. They're gonna all be related to an extent. We'll see what relates to what. Obviously, I'm not gonna like relate Elisa Lam to like a shamanistic one later in the future, because again, this one's grounded in reality. This is just true. This is just real. But next up, we're gonna be talking about Nostradamus. I said it right this time, I think. As you all are aware, the iceberg provides the entry itself, what the entry is, and then below that entry, it provides the explanation or the correlation to the theory, conspiracy theory, that is assumed. So, let me read the entry. Nostradamus, old philosopher that created constellations and made predictions of the future, such as World War II and the Great London Fire. Reality hypersigils. If someone can reach such a fundamental and full understanding of reality, likely someone well educated such as a philosopher, then perhaps they can have some influence over the future of convincing themselves of what is to come. This can imply either the efficacy of hypersigils on abstract or non-living things, or the sentience and malleability of reality. There are a few mechanisms and things we can say that we can just chalk up to people kind of glazing him for no reason. Essentially, there's the vagueness bias, there's post-diction, there's translation manipulation, and there's confirmation bias. So let's get into each one of them. So the vagueness bias is that his writings are intentionally ambiguous. For example, he says things like great man falls or fire from the sky, and they can really fit into any area and era and make it sound like he actually predicted these things, when in reality it's just like me saying like eventually there'll be rain, or great waters will cleanse the earth, or something like that, and then let's say like a flood happened, that kind of deal. Post-diction, just you can interpret this as after the fact interpretation, where people reinterpret old verses after events occur. For example, the Holocaust happened or Hitler happened, right? And then they'll be like, ah, this guy, he predicted this. Or 9/11 happens and they're like, ah, he predicted this. But again, he was just being very vague, and then post-diction kind of like reinforce that. We also have translation manipulation, where modern authors mistranslate or selectively quote lines to make them sound prophetic. Yeah, this was pretty self-explanatory. Just they lie. And you have confirmation bias, where people remember the hits and forget about the misses, especially when they're mass amounts of misses. Some of the claimed prophecies that people say he claimed were, or he prophesized, were 9/11, Hitler, World War III, and the end of the world. Let's talk about what he actually wrote, or what people claim that he wrote. So for the 9/11 claim or prophecy, they say that he wrote, 2 steel birds will fall from the sky on the metropolis. This is just entirely fabricated, and he never said this in any of his writings. Next we have Hitler, to which he writes, from the depths of Western Europe, a child shall be born of poor people. Which, probably, I mean, I don't know where people got Hitler from. Some people say that he used the word hister, but that just, like, if you even bring that up, they're just referring to the Danube River region, not Adolf Hitler. I don't even know what, just because they look the same, I guess. I don't know. Then you have the World War III claim. He's apparently prophesized World War III. He has very vague writings mentioning fire, Great War, and blood. I mean, like, shit, I mean, call me a prophet. I think World War III is going to happen sometime in the future. like what? So yeah, there's no direct chronological prediction or specificity. It's not specific. Then you have that he prophesies the end of the world in 1999 and 2012 and 2023. I don't know about you, but I'm here, so we can just, yeah. Though his writings say, in the year 1999 and 7 months, from the sky shall come a great king of terror. Yeah, nothing happened. Literally nothing happened. So, this guy is a fraud. It's just straight up a fraud. This guy doesn't even get a picture or anything. I'm not even putting up a picture. This guy sucks. Next up, I want to talk about androids, but the conspiracy theory iceberg and the provided Google Doc for the iceberg don't really have any entries about androids, so I kind of have to just guess what it could be talking about. So the way that we're going to format and approach this is I'm going to give you some theories, the claims to those theories, and then the probable reality to those theories. So theory number 1, government androids. What I'm assuming people mean by this, like this one's so bad that I just had to like search up on Google and use Google AI to see what they're like. I actually have no idea what kind of androids they could be talking about. I'm assuming it is government orientated, tinfoil hat level conspiracy, but let's move on. So, theory is government androids, the claim being cloned or robotic agents replacing officials. Reality, no proof, no tech even exists for organic replication or anything like that. This can't be. It's the current Kanye clone. Daily headlines. I saw this while trying to find pictures for my video. This one's kind of crazy. This one's kind of weird. This is the same picture they use here, but let's watch this real quick. I just want to watch this.
I think there are clones, okay? And I think Kanye is a clone, and I'm gonna tell you why.
This is the latest from the newsroom.
Ex-reality star Kristen Cavallari has claimed the current Kanye West is a clone.
He was calling a lot of people out, and he said, if I go away and I come back and I look different, that is not...
Hold on, is that like a... Like right here, is that like a heroin needle score or something?
me.
A man was arrested after allegedly stabbing 2 security guards
What?
with a broken bottle at a shopping centre in Melbourne. And Elizabeth Hurley and her son Damien have announced they'll attend the Melbourne Cup next month.
What? Wait, what? What does that have to do? Hold
Is
on.
not me.
A man was arrested after allegedly stabbing 2 security guards with a broken bottle at a shopping centre in Melbourne. And Elizabeth Hurley and her son Damien have announced they'll attend the Melbourne Cup next month.
Is it just like... Are they just throwing random shit? We also have the classic celebrity replacements where they're cloned or there's androids replacing them. The proofs is that there's celebrities that glitch and are android doubles and they look a little bit different or weird. Reality, fake videos, fake claims, misinterpreted micro expressions, people just being awkward maybe, people being people. I've seen a few of these type of videos. I'll see if I can find any and put them on the screen. But again, very unconvincing and tinfoil level theory. I don't really want to talk about it that much because like it's so lame. There's also the theory that AI body programs, which the claim being humans being replaced by synthetic bodies for control. This is just impossible. There's no lab, company, or leaked data to support this, and I just don't think that they could go this long being hidden. If something like this did exist, this would have been talked about all the time. Another theory is that android armies / super soldiers are a real thing. The claim being hidden projects making lifelike soldiers. This one doesn't even make that much sense to me because why would they want to make super soldiers when you can just have like bombs and stuff? You know what I mean? Like why would I need a soldier if I can just have a drone deliver like an explosive to somebody's forehead? Why do I need a super soldier when I can just like throw a few like airstrikes from a plane. I don't know. I mean, yeah, sure, there's still foot soldiers and whatnot, but I don't think I guess making them super soldiers would be useful, but also isn't that way more expensive than just like getting better military weapons? I don't know. I'm not a genius, but I just think super soldiers might be a little more expensive than it's worth. And even if it wasn't, you still have like human error and all these other things, whereas that's less likely to be the case dealing with weaponry, I think. So yeah, it just doesn't seem smart that much. Even if you did get super soldiers, if they ever wanted to like revolt against you, that'd be pretty bad, right? I guess that's where you have to make them an android, like they're getting trolled. But let's say these, I just don't know. There's too many loopholes that I can think of. I'm not gonna sit here and talk about every single one of them. I just think this one's really stupid. Like, I just don't think this one's real. This can't be real. This has to be disinfo. I think this one's just in here just to, yeah, disinfo. Also, I apologize. I still sound super nasally, and that's gonna go away soon because I know I said I was gonna get my surgery a while ago, but then I ended up missing my appointment for my pre-op and stuff because I got lazy, and I pushed it off. But tomorrow I have my surgery, so starting like Thursday, I'll start being able to breathe better. It's gonna have like plastic poles in my nose. I don't know, whatever. I'll sound more like a human being after this, is my point. In the real world, we do have certain STEM fields that are trying to achieve something similar, not necessarily androids or the purposes of these theories that we have for androids, but let's talk about them. So we have humanoid robotics. In most cases, they're just developing robots that are able to move and interact in human spaces smoothly. We also have artificial intelligence being a real thing, you know, usually building software that mimics reasoning or learning. Then there's neuroprosthetics. It's a restorative rather than a replacement, so it's not really transhumanist, I wouldn't say, but it's a restorative attempt to have brain-computer interfaces interact with prosthetics through electronics. So if somebody loses their arm and they get like a Neuralink, they're able to control their prosthetic arm with their Neuralink, which is pretty cool. Lastly, there's synthetic biology, growing tissues or cells, dealing with stem cells, anti-aging, chimeras, all that cool stuff. When talking about chimeras, I mean the mice embryos that got human brain stem cells injected into them. That was really cool. That was pretty cool. That was sick. Next entry I'm going to talk about is climate denial. This entry is on here, and I was a little confused because there's no provided Google Doc for this one either. There's also, it's very broad and it could just be anything. But I think it's just talking about climate denial's existence, like the reason why people deny climate. Now, you could just be like, oh, people are stupid and people don't pay attention. But you can also blame capitalism, honestly. Why does this myth even exist, and why does it persist? Very simple. There's financial incentive. There's trillions of dollars invested in fossil fuels. It's very obvious that people want to keep this machine running. Political identity, because it became a cultural war topic rather than like a scientific or social, like societal issue. There's a psychological comfort to it because it's easier to deny like a crisis rather than accept the responsibility that comes with it. And misinformation networks. Social media algorithms reward outrage and contrarian takes. The reason being is that because somebody will hear something online, they'll be like, oh, this is obviously fake and stupid. I'm gonna comment and engage with this video and send it to other people to show how dumb this person is. And then the person who posted is like, ooh la la, I'm getting so many interactions and views and whatnot. So yeah. And then also don't forget the huge amount of anti-intellectualism that there is going on. And well, I can't speak for the rest of the world, but that's just been always a thing in America. And I'm just not gonna get into any of that because it's just kind of like dumb and stupid that we even let this happen in the first place. But it's not, I can't blame anybody apart from the people in the past, and obviously people that uphold anti-intellectualist rhetoric and legislation too. So let's talk about the financial incentive and the reason that this whole thing kind of got kickstarted in the first place. During the 1980s to the 1990s, fossil fuel companies such as Exxon and Shell discovered internal research showing that carbon dioxide causes warming. Instead of warning the public, they funded PR campaigns to cast doubt on the science. Then in the 1990s to the 2000s, think tanks like Heartland Institute and political groups spread the science isn't settled messaging, basically trying to say, hey guys, we don't know for sure yet. We're not so sure if this science thing is real. Then 2010s and onwards, online echo chambers reframed it as climate lockdowns, carbon tax scams, or New World Order population control. Now let's address some of the claims that are used to deny climate change. Climate has always changed. While this is true, current warming is 10 times faster and directly linked to fossil fuel carbon dioxide levels. Another claim is scientists are lying for grants. Climate data is public and cross-verified by NASA, NOAA, ESA, JAXA, and independent universities. Volcanoes emit more carbon dioxide than humans. That's a claim, by the way. Humans emit 100 times more carbon dioxide each year than all volcanoes combined. Yeah, okay. Next claim is that it's just the sun. Solar output cycles measured by satellites show no correlation with modern temperature rise. The last claim that models are unreliable. Counterargument to this claim, or counterclaim, is models from the 1980s accurately predicted today's temperature trends. I mean, Google and Wikipedia are both free, so yeah. You know how rock, paper, scissors works? How there's like the rock and that one always beats scissors, and then scissors always cuts paper and blah blah blah. Imagine that, but it's only one way, and its emotional appeal will always beat logic, so yeah. People denying climate aren't at fault for denying climate. It's these evil corporations that have been trying to perpetuate the same propaganda they had from the 80s to brainwash people into believing that climate change isn't real, so that they can keep making money off of it. I think that's probably what the conspiracy theory is, and honestly, that's not even a conspiracy theory, that's just like the truth. So, yeah, that kind of sucks. I mean, these corporations are trying to tell me that I should trust them instead of the same people that got us on the moon. Yeah, okay. Well, to be fair, the moon landing was faked anyway, so. Yeah, I'm kind of tired, and this video is a little bit long now. It's about like 20 minutes or so, and I think that's good enough for me to release, so I'm gonna stop recording. And I'm just gonna call it quits here. I ended up covering like 2 of the topics that I said I was gonna cover in this video, but I covered a few other ones which I thought were kind of funner to talk about, especially after the Elisa Lam one. It's been kind of, I know it might not seem like I spent a lot of time in it because it's whatever, but yeah, what? Okay, yeah, I'm lazy. Please, I'm sorry. Look, next video I'll talk about the moon landing and other cool stuff, and yeah. Like and subscribe if you were disappointed by the lack of entries or whatever. I don't know. Making videos is hard because I have to use my brain.